What's up everybody, it's Sean here, super excited to give you guys my early look at the upcoming Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG in this Lost and Found or Chicago Reimagined colorway. Today's video is brought to you by Soul Savvy. Soul Savvy is a membership-based community of like-minded, passionate sneakerheads with a true love for shoes. And personally, I've been a member of Soul Savvy for years now, pretty much since they started a few years back. And the thing I love most about being a member is that it gives me that one-stop shop so I know exactly what's releasing, when and where. And as a member, they give you a whole bunch of tools to help you buy shoes for retail, including sneaker website monitors, add to cart links, training sessions for big sneaker releases, and they also offer perks such as a member-only store where they sell shoes only for retail. And recently they introduced a brand new app called Soul Savvy Collect. So this is an online sneaker marketplace where you can buy, sell, trade, and display your collection, and anyone that has access to Collect is a member of Soul Savvy, and they've been individually vetted, so you have that assurance that whoever you're dealing with is going to be legit. And if you guys are still unsure about joining Soul Savvy, they also offer a second tier level of subscription, which is basically a mobile app only plan, giving you access to release guides, raffles, and of course, sneaker drop alerts that go right to your phone. And starting this Monday on September 12th, they're lowering that price to only $10.99 a month. So if you guys want to learn more about Soul Savvy and potentially become a member, be sure to check out that link down below in the description box and be sure to tell them I sent you. So this in my hand is arguably one of the top sneaker releases to drop in 2022. This of course is formerly known as the Chicago Jordan 1 Reimagined, but now it's been given the nickname Lost and Found. And as of right now, I know the release dates keep shifting, but they're slated for a drop of November of 2022 for a price of $180 US, which is a $10 increase over the standard Jordan 1 High price, and that's going to probably translate to a price of roughly 250 Canadian dollars. And the colorway for this shoe is varsity red, sail, black, and muslin. And I know it doesn't matter how many pairs of these they pump out, this will be probably a very tough shoe to get for retail, which makes sense considering it's been, what, 7 years since the last Chicago 1 High released? But if you watch till the end of this review, you'll see why this pair is a little bit different than the last release. So following in that trend of aged and vintage looking new sneakers, this pair takes it to the next level, surrounding it with basically this imaginary story or concept, which is why this shoe is called Lost and Found. It pays homage to those independent mom and pop sneaker shops from days gone by, and it tells a story of what a Jordan 1 Chicago from 1985 would look like if it was forgotten and kept in storage in one of those shops and discovered over 35 years later. So that's why the shoe has a very aged and distressed look to it, and it's supposed to mimic the look of an original Chicago 1, which has of course deteriorated over time while it's been stuck in storage. So first things first, here's a quick look at the box, and this is one of the things I love most about this release. As you can see, it comes in this mismatching box, almost like they lost the lid of the original Jordan 1 box. So on the top we have this orange Nike box, which has this worn in and aged look to it. And then the bottom of the box is of course your classic black and red Air Jordan 1 box. But a really small but really nice added touch that I liked was the sale tag, which they added to the lid, and it was just sitting in storage and forgotten after all these years. Inside the box, it also comes with a special black and white printed paper as well, featuring all these advertisements for the Air Jordan 1, which I thought was a very, very unique touch. And then arguably my favorite part of this packaging is, of course, this invoice or receipt that it came with. So as you can see, this is a fictional shop called Sandy Bros Sports Depot, located in Covington, Kentucky. And the invoice or receipt is dated August 30th of 1986. And I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that this receipt or invoice is full of a whole bunch of Nike Easter eggs. So I don't know exactly what they are. I couldn't find that article. So I don't want to say the wrong thing and give you guys the wrong information. But either way, I think this is a very creative and very unique addition to the whole packaging and the whole unboxing experience. So taking a look at the shoes themselves, so overall, in terms of silhouette, this isn't exactly the same as your normal Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG, which is basically your normal Air Jordan 1 highs. However, it's also not exactly the same as the 85 cut, for example, the Georgetown ones that released this year, and I'd say that it's somewhere in between the two. But let me know down below if you guys want me to do an in-depth comparison compared to the 2015 Chicago ones. If that's a video you'd be interested in watching, leave a comment down below and I'll consider making that for you guys. So as we take a look at the toolbox first, so the leather here is done in this slightly off-white color, but it's been given this cracked appearance, mimicking the look of 37-year-old leather. Just like all your other Air Jordan 1s though, we have this perforated finish on the toe box, and then surrounding the front toe cap, we have a nice tapered toe box, and this is covered in a varsity red colored leather. This same leather covers the eyelets of the shoe, as well as the top side flaps of the shoe. On the lateral side, instead of being debossed in a shiny finish like most of your Jordan 1 highs, this one is embossed, and the Air Jordan Wings logo here is painted in this matte black color. On the quarter panel, we have more of that cracked sail colored leather, but you can tell that it's not as flaky as, for example, an Reimagined Air Jordan 1, but for these ones, the crack treatment is given a much more subtle finish. Stitched on top of this, we have a black swoosh, which is constructed out of a smooth black leather, and then surrounding the bottom of the heel, we have more of that varsity red colored leather, and then the top of the ankle collar area is painted in this black finish, but it's given this cracked appearance, revealing a secondary layer underneath in this tan or beige color. As for the laces, so these actually come pre-laced on the bottom two eyelets only in both the black and the white laces that they come with. This being a Chicago 1, it looks best with a black colored lace, so that's the one that I opted to wear these with. And the laces are just your normal flat style lace. Underneath this, we have a nylon tongue, but it's given an aged appearance, giving it a bit of an orangey or reddish tone. At the very top, we have this red tag with Nike Air branding, and then as far as the interior of this shoe, it's decently well padded, and it's covered in the smooth black colored textile, and then as for the insoles, these come with a polyurethane insole instead of the normal ortholite foam that most Air Jordan 1s come with. And pressed on the heel, we have Nike Air branding in red. So the upper of the Jordan 1 sits atop this full-length rubber cup sole, which is given a vintage look in this off-white or sail-colored finish. Encapsulated within this midsole but not visible to the eye, there is Nike Air technology for cushioning, and then as we turn this pair over to the bottom, here we have your standard Air Jordan 1 outsole. However, the biggest change is that it's given this vintage appearance with this almost dirty or faded looking treatment that's given to the red rubber. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this pair. And for those wondering about sizing, so to me, these fit me like most of my other Air Jordan 1s. So for most people, I'd recommend sticking true to size. If you do have really wide feet though, you might want to consider going up a half size because this area right here can be a little bit snug for really wide footers. However, for the majority of people out there, stick with your normal Air Jordan 1 size, and I think they'll fit you perfectly fine. Next up, in terms of the comfort, so these feel like any other Air Jordan 1s, and what I mean by that is that it's going to feel pretty firm and flat to the ground. There's not too much from a step-in comfort or cushioning perspective, and they're just going to be a very stable and easy shoe to pull off casually. I did notice though that the leather used, specifically this red leather, it felt a little bit thicker than the Chicago 1 from 2015, so it doesn't necessarily need break-in time, but it wasn't the softest Air Jordan 1 that I've worn straight out of the box. Finally, in terms of the overall quality and the craftsmanship, so first off, material quality, I thought it was just decent. It wasn't by any means great, but it was a little bit above average. So this red leather that they used feels a little bit thicker than some of the other Jordan 1 high releases, but it didn't feel as stiff as the leather used on the 85 cut Jordan 1s. Aside from that though, it is a genuine cut of leather. And then moving on to the white leather, I'm personally not a huge fan of that whole cracked appearance. It's kind of gimmicky in my opinion, but I do have to say I prefer this type of crack leather compared to the crack leather on the Reimagined Air Jordan 1s, which I thought took it a little bit too extreme on that end. Other than that though, the rest of the materials felt pretty standard, and in terms of the overall build and the craftsmanship, I'd say that it was pretty average. There were some extra long threads that I had to trim off myself, but in terms of glue stains, I didn't really notice anything on my pair. So I'd say that it's solid but not flawless, but it's kind of expected for a mass-produced Nike sneaker. So with all that out of the way now, let me throw these on feet and I'll show you guys how these look. At the end of the day, while this isn't exactly what people wanted, which is probably a classic, normal Air Jordan 1 High Chicago, I'm personally not mad at the end result of this pair. Yes, it does feel a little bit gimmicky, but I think the storytelling, especially with the box and the extras that came with the box, I think it really helps sell this whole release as a package deal. But for someone like myself, I have two pairs of the 2015 Chicago 1s, one that I wear heavily, one that I keep on ice. Originally, I thought that I wanted to double up on these, but after thinking about it, I don't think I'll ever choose this pair over the 2015 Chicago 1s. So I think just having one pair just to have in the collection is good enough for me. Still though, this is a very dope release. This is basically a Chicago 1, and given the fact that it's been 7 long years since they last released, it's totally understandable why this would be one of the top shoes to release in 2022. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this lost and found or Chicago reimagined Air Jordan 1 High. What are your overall thoughts on this release? Are you a fan of this whole vintage take on the colorway? Or would you have preferred a more classic, normal Jordan 1 instead? If you guys enjoyed watching this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at sgo8, check me out on Twitter at sean.go, and visit my website at seango.ca. So until next time, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and hopefully it helped you in some way. Another big shout out goes out to Soul Savvy, and I'll catch you guys all in my next review.